Hey guys, and it's Red Fox
Hey,
Gaming,
my name is
and
Steven.
today
I'm
we're
16 years old.
to
Have you ever had it that you couldn't
funny
remember someone's
animations.
face?
Well, love
When my friends or
animations.
classmates say hi to
This
me,
one is
I
gonna
don't
be
know who it
funny,
is.
and
I can't even remember my own mother's face, though we live in the same house. You think I have a bad memory or am blind? Not at all. Now I will tell you why this happened to me and how it led to the greatest shame of my life. I was born a completely normal child. Me and my friends used to love walking around unfinished buildings. One day, I slipped and fell to the ground floor. I probably hit the back of my head on something. I don't remember. Sometime later, some weird things started happening. When I regained consciousness in the hospital room, some unknown woman in a gown gave me a bouquet of roses, hugged me, and cried for joy. Only by her voice did I understand she is my mom. I didn't recognize her face. I didn't tell anyone about it, though, thinking it will pass. But at home, everything became worse. As soon as I would look away from my mother's face, it immediately disappeared from my mind. When I would go outside, the same thing would happen with other people. I could remember the shape of a person, but not the face itself. I was scared of confessing to my mom or anybody else, so I learned to determine who the person is by their voice. I paid attention to their body, clothes, tattoos, other similar details. It became hard at school, because almost always I could not understand who was speaking to me or who said hello. People were offended by this. They thought I became arrogant. I started spending more time at home, playing online video games, but still didn't tell my mom about this strange thing. I kept thinking, why did I stop remembering faces? What happened to me? Mom didn't notice anything. We lived together, as she had divorced my father long ago, and for her the most important thing was that I survived my fall. One day, I decided to tell my friend Jack about my problem. I am unable to remember people's faces. He laughed, yeah, right, and invited me to a pizzeria so that I could describe everything in more detail. We ordered Coca-Cola and a pizza, and I told him everything as it was. That I don't remember my mom's face, that I can't make out other people, and I don't know why. We talked for 15 minutes. Suddenly, Jack went to the washroom. When he came back, I continued my story. It seemed like he got carried away by it and just quietly listened. Afterwards, he started asking me if I remember my own face in the mirror. And at that moment, I understood that Jack wasn't in front of me. I became upset and asked who it was. The person gestured for someone. They laughed in such a way that it seemed like they would burst. It ended up that Jack decided to check if I'm lying, and so he told his friend Chris about my problem. Their faces aren't similar, but their hair color and hairstyles are the same, so they were easily able to prank me. I became disappointed in my friends. Now, I spent entire days sitting and playing an online video game, saving the world and fighting dragons. It was fun, but for me the most important thing was that I could finally speak normally with other people. As over each character there is a nickname. We are all from the same city, although we have never seen each other in our actual lives. We didn't call each other by our real names. We didn't need to. One time, a new girl, Fallen Star, joined our guild. We immediately found common ground and chatted a lot. I realized that I fell in love. I would wait to enter the game just for the sake of talking to her. And suddenly, she invited me on a date. I was terribly scared, but I decided to risk it. I don't know her face anyway, so why be afraid? It's even better this way. I will immediately remember her by her gestures and voice, and will not concentrate on her face. We agreed to meet in a cafe. In order to tell who she was, I asked her to wait at the table with a red rose in her hands, as this flower was the emblem of our guild. The only mode of communication between us was the game, so we didn't know each other's real names and phone numbers. I thought, what an intrigue. And so I entered the cafe. A girl sat at a table with a rose in her hand. She was obviously older than me, but it's hard for me to judge age. I sat down and said, hello, Fallen Star, it's me. I'm happy to finally see you in real life. Her face fell in shock. She probably didn't expect me to be so young. Afterwards, I heard, Steven? So it's you? I was numb. Sweat appeared on my face. It was my mom. I fell in love with my own mother and went on a date with her. I was shocked and burned with shame. Then everything. The fact that I have not been able to recognize the faces of people for a long time, including her. She was shocked. First of all, from the fact that I did not share my misfortune with her. Maybe the problem is with your vision, she asked. Mom, I see perfectly. The next day, my mom sent me to a clinic. I went through a bunch of analysis, and the doctors finally understood what the issue was. I have prosopagnosia, a disorder which makes me unable to remember faces, even my own. Most likely, it was caused by that unfortunate fall in the unfinished building and a strong blow to the back of the head. It's quite a rare disorder, and though my mom supports me, I still feel lonely as before. Maybe it's possible that after my story, there will end up being more people who also have the same symptoms as me. Write me if you do. I'd like to befriend you. Yes, we won't remember each other's faces, but with prosopagnosia, we remember different details better than others. For example, how many times were roses shown in this video? Take the attentiveness test and write your answers in the comments. Don't forget to give me a like before you do so, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for taking these few minutes to be with me.
And okay, we're gonna do another one. And okay. Hey, the second animation. Hey, let's do the second animation. Wow, that is pretty funny and it's a lot of animation. to you guys. And I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. And yeah, God bless you.